Well, joining me today is Diane Hobday, who's Sector Manager for Materials, Assets and Products at NATA. Welcome, Di.
Thank you very much.
So, who is NATA?
NATA is an accreditation body. We don't do any testing ourselves, but we do accredit laboratories for performing tests. Our purpose is to give confidence to the reports that are issued by laboratories through the use of our endorsement.
Right. Now, NATA's got a very proud and strong history, I understand.
Yes, NATA was established in 1947 as part of CSIRO, and our purpose from then until now is to provide credibility and reliability and traceability to the test reports that are endorsed by our name.
So, given the overall focus of NATA, what's NATA's place within something like a supply chain?
Every product that is made and all of the raw materials that go into it are going to have contractual requirements that they need to meet, what they need to do, specifications that define what they are. And often with those specifications and contractual requirements, people are asking for tests to be done to demonstrate that the product meets their need. And testing can be done through a NATA accredited laboratory, and the reports will come on an endorsed report.
Right. So now I understand why your title is so long, because it is indeed Materials, Assets and Products, right?
Yes.
In this environment, what's a good example of what you're talking about within a supply chain?
If you think about a lighting manufacturer.
Okay.
We all use lights. We know where they come from, what they do. When the lights are made, the manufacturer will specify the characteristics of that product. They may have to meet regulatory requirements about the way that it interacts with the power supply, and they have to rate it according to the energy efficiency. They'll get a test done, and that test will usually be on an endorsed report. And that report will accompany the light through the various entities in the supply chain. And we have very complex supply chains. Perhaps supply networks is a better word now, until it's finally installed for the end user.
Well, that sounds pretty straightforward, right? You get an authenticated report that talks about things like colour temperature, energy usage, energy efficiency and so on. So what's the problem?
If you have, for example, a 2-star light unit that goes into the supply chain, and you have someone in that supply chain who looks at that light and thinks, it looks just like the light over there, which is a 4-star one, but I paid a lot less money for it. If I change the report that's come with it, I can then sell it on at a premium.
Right, so what you're saying is that if I take a digital report and digitally alter, let's say the PDF as an example, sounds like fraud to me, but if there's profit involved, some people may be willing to take that risk.
Yes, and it is fraud if you're doing it for the purposes of financial gain or personal gain. But it can be very difficult to determine who in the supply chain did it. And so it's better if we can find measures to protect the integrity of the document rather than try to close the gate afterwards.
And I would imagine the ramifications of putting in something that's not the specifications I expected could be, if it's one light in some person's house, it's one thing, but if it's a building that's just been constructed, it could be massive.
The cost to the end user of 1,000 lights that are not performing according to the specification that came with them can be very significant.
Can NATA help in this area?
NATA is not all of the solution, but we can support laboratories through this.
Okay.
This year, we are investigating and will trial a digital endorsement. This will be a live clickable link that will, if it's clicked, take you to a website that will tell you that this is a valid endorsement that was applied by a specific laboratory.
Right. So, number one, if it's a digital report, which we're all going to get, if it's unclickable, that's a warning sign.
Yes.
If it's clickable and it takes you to a verification format, a digital badge as an example, is what you've just said, can't I kind of, if I've got the smarts to alter an image, can I not kind of leave that link attached as well?
If you rescan that document, the link will be damaged or completely removed. If you think about in terms of the Adobe signatures or the digital signatures that you can apply to PDFs individually, if you try to alter that report, you will either get a flat, dead signature that it doesn't tell you anything, or it will actually return an error. And it's that kind of mechanism.
What a great start. I'm looking forward to seeing this, because it does sound like supply chain integrity is really, it's really everybody's problem within there. And if this is part of the solution, thank you so much for the innovation that NATA's come up with.
Thank you.